This is Outside the Round with Matt Burrill, a Raise Rowdy podcast.
Yeah. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Outside the Round. Today, I got my homie, Tayler freaking Holder.
What's going on, man?
In the building. Dude, thanks for coming. I heard it was a wild weekend on the road with Mr. Chase Matthew.
Man, to say the least, it was crazy. First two shows of the year, not disappointed at all. The way the weekend ended was disappointing, but that's for whatever, you know what I mean? We'll take that with a grain of salt.
Where were the shows at?
The shows, we had one in Knoxville at the Mill and Mine, so that was our third time playing
Love that room, bro.
Bro, it's so sick. Now I got to go headline it myself because we played it. We played it with Dylan Scott. We played it with Cameron Whitcomb, and then just did with Chase. And then we did Pittsburgh. And I traveling the world and like playing the songs have been kind of like surreal to me because like I would have never thought like that many people like country music in Pittsburgh. And like or like we did a show in Jersey, like at Jinx Club, like right on the shore, and like packed it out.
That used to be my old stomping grounds, bro.
No
I used
way.
to help out with those Wednesday night, that series that you did with Thunder 106. I used to help with those shows back in like 2016, 2017.
It was so wild, like to just see like how many people love country music in the places that I just never would have thought as well. But then on the way home, all of our like rods in our hub like just completely just snapped and sent us just like drifting down the highway, and about lost the trailer. Couple $1,000s later, still didn't get it fixed, and we just decided to leave it there. And I called my buddy, and Z went and picked up a Sprinter and drove 4 hours to come get us and drove us back that night.
I've been there, bro. I've been there. I've been to where it breaks down when you're leaving town, and then you got to go rent a U-Haul or another truck, load the gear into a box truck, and follow the bus,
dude,
to wherever you go.
We've had one really bad experience. Like we were like, how can we look at this as a positive? And the positive that we took away from it was we were not headed to another show.
Yeah,
because we've been on the way to a show and that happens, and when you're in the middle of nowhere, can't get a rental car, you can't get picked up in an Uber on the side of the highway either to go get to a location to rent a car. It was just like the most unbelievable thing. Like we almost had to cancel the show because we almost didn't make it, but it was a whole thing. So we were like, at least we're not headed to another show. But it was literally from 9:30 in the morning till 11 p.m. at night until we got it solved. So it was a long day. Yeah,
how these shows been with Chase been, because he is a performer. If you haven't been to a Chase Matthews show, you got to get your ass to one. For those that are watching,
dude, I tell everyone that. Even when I'm on stage, like I'm like, who's ready for Chase Matthews? Like I know you guys aren't here for me. Like I got to tell you, like I don't know if you've ever been to one, but it's arguably one of the best concerts I've ever put on my life. Like I watch his show every single night that I'm with him, whether I'm playing with him or not. I'm just watching. And I learned so much from him. He's genuinely one of the guys that I learned the most of my stage presence from, because he is the entire time. One of the first things he says when he gets on that stage is, "I'm giving this hat away to like the loudest person." That he is so good at like getting the fans engaged and keeping them engaged the entire show. And that's one thing I'm learning how to do. I'm still super new on stage and stuff like that, so we're like still trying to figure out those things, and getting to watch close friends and people that I love like Chase and learning from them, it's cool. It's something that I literally dreamed of forever.
Yeah, man. And I've gotten to kind of watch you grow through Tailgates and Tall Boys every year, and getting to see you do different things around town. And the past few years, transitioning from just doing the social media aspect of entertainment to writing songs, getting out there and playing them for people, most of all recording them, that's got to be a wild thing to have gone through.
Dude, it is weird. Honestly, the coolest thing for me is like being able to like, you know, I think that it's been a long journey. And, you know, you've kind of watched the whole thing coming over from the TikTok kid to like trying to do music and stuff like that. And I think what's like really inspiring to me is how much like music can actually transition people, because like I was, you know, that dancing TikTok kid that was not an artist at all to coming into a space that I was completely unaware of, and let alone country music. It was very hard for people to like take me serious coming into this world, you know? And I loved it. I hated it, but I loved it, you know, because everyone thought that it was this facade that I'm putting on. Everyone thought that I'm this like city boy from LA, and, you know, no one knows I'm from town that's got 2,000 people in it, in the middle of
Alvarado, Texas,
Man,
baby.
me and Sevy, dude.
Yes.
Like, me and Sevy grew up. I've literally known him since I was born, man. Him and my brother went to school together. His parents went to school with my family.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's not much coming from there. Growing up and, you know, wanting to team rope with my dad for the rest of my life, or grew up racing moto, like doing all these things. And then, like, I land on, like, dancing on TikTok, you know, and that's how I get, like, seen by the world.
Yeah.
Like, man, I wish the world would have seen, like, the realest version of me instead of this guy that was just chasing a bunch of money that meant nothing, you know. And as we're coming over to the music side, and there's so many people that, like, I see in the comments now that are like, and that's what, like, pushes me to do it even more, is like, cheesy and cliche as that is like, I have dudes in the comments that are like, not gonna lie, bro, used to, like, really rip on you, dude, and hate what you were doing, and the music is good, and I'm behind it now, man.
Yeah.
Like, you have got a fan now, and, like, that's what, like, drives me to, like, gain those people that don't give a fuck about you, you know, because hopefully, I'd like to think that hopefully the people that do love me are going to stick around for a while, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And whether it was the dancing on camera for TikTok, that's still entertaining, that's still creating. So I feel like you've always had that bone in you to want to create. And and honestly, it is, to me, it is something to where the social media part of it is so hard for people to figure out. It's usually you have one thing or the other, and you kind of reversed it, where you come from that social media background.
On him, man.
Yeah, you really did. And then you get in the room with some incredible songwriters, and you pick up that craft of telling story through lyrics and melodies. And you already knew how to be in front of people from doing interviews and dancing in front of people and doing the stuff like you talked about.
Yeah.
So getting on stage had to feel, what was that like, getting on stage for the first time as Tayler Holder, the country singer?
It was the scariest thing in the world, because I did do Whiskey Jam and stuff like that. But like my first like actual like on stage moment, I'd like to say, is like, we did like a couple of our own little like one-off shows just to get our feet wet. They were smaller rooms, but was the Dylan Scott tour.
Yeah.
And we kind of got thrown into that really fast, and like it was literally just me and my best friend John. Like he was my content guy, and like that first day I remember it was extra like scary, because like I had already had a good relationship with Dylan. They were already good guys, so I wasn't worried about like that side of stuff. But everything that could go wrong, day of like the first day of tour, you know, everyone's like getting all their things like situated and stuff. We didn't even get to sound check. Like Dylan was dealing with technical difficulties. There was stuff going on. And so like first big show ever in my life, open up for a big artist, not a sound check. I had never really played on a stage like that ever in my life. Everything was just like, I'm like, this show's about to go to shit, guys. Like I was like, I'm about to really make a fool of myself. This is going viral for sure, and people are never going to come to a show again.
Yeah.
And man, it was a bunch of trial and error, and I will say that Dylan is like some of the like the very few that like put his arm around me and was like helping me like line by line of like what could really help sculpt what we're doing. And they were a big help to John, because John was like, when we got there, they were like, or leading up to it, it was like, you know, tour manager, this, that, and I was like, I was like, I got my mom's right here, like, you know what I mean? Like, we had no idea what was going on,
dude,
you know?
Yeah.
And John had this idea of like, hey, dude, I want to try to do this. I want to try to like take over more of what we're doing here, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I got no one else to do it, so let's try it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it all started for us. So
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, and Dylan Scott's a great guy to look up to. And funny, you were talking about Jenks earlier. My first time seeing Dylan Scott was 2016 at Jenks Club.
no way,
Yeah,
dude.
almost 10 years ago.
Did he,
at Jenks
how many
Club.
people did he put in there?
I mean, it was a lot of people.
Oh, was it still good?
Oh, bro. It
Dude,
was
hell yeah.
early on, man. Early on,
I always
Dylan
love hearing the
Scott.
stories of like we played cruisins like a couple
Yeah,
times, right?
shout
He's
out
like,
to Wayno.
Wayne and Austin, man, dude. I freaking
Best. I love Peoria, Illinois.
You know those, dude, they're like the prime example of the dudes that like you are like, you're about to go play this venue for the first time and you're like professional, right? And you're trying to handle everything professional, and then you get there and you're like, okay, fuck profession, dude.
Yes.
Like these guys are like throwing down with us, man.
Yeah,
you
we're
know?
having fun.
Yeah, but I just love the stories of like, they tell me that like I sold more tickets than Lainey Wilson did there, like when she came and played it. And
Crazy.
and so that gives me perspective of like, you know, maybe we got a real shot at this. You know,
You
what I
do,
mean?
man.
Like,
You're doing it.
You know, and that's what like goes in my head, where like those are the things that like, because I think that sometimes coming from the social media space, I'm so used to like viral. Like every video I'm doing, I'm trying to go viral. It's trying to be the next big thing. And I think that like when I came to music, that was a big setback for me, because it's so much different, man. There's people like that are getting 5,000 likes that are selling out thousands and thousands cap rooms. Like, you know what I mean? That are like hard for me to do. And I have 20 million, right? It's just because it's such a different space. And that was a really big like newsflash to me and a reset, because I come over here thinking like, I got a platform. Maybe this will be easier for me, right? Not at all, man. And so that's also been a really cool thing to see of like, hey, I had 20 million followers and I was struggling putting 100 people in a room. And it all comes down to just like the quality of the music, the quality of everything. And there's a difference that I've learned, and there's a difference between followers and fans. And whenever you're doing stuff,
thing, bro.
Yeah, man. And so whenever I was focused on doing stuff for the views, I'd get so discouraged, man. A video would flop and I'd be like, oh man, this song's not worth it, or this or that. Instead of focusing on the long play, instead of focusing on like, nah, man, like let it sit there for a minute, let it do its work, let everything cook, because this isn't just some viral moment on the internet anymore. This is like you're building like decades of longevity and like you're here to stay. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man, it's an investment. It really freaking is. And from playing the side stage at a TNT in Bloomington to then going into a Cruisins or going into a Jenks Club, or like building that from taking the side stage thing that you got to do in those opening slots to now getting ready to do your headlining thing, which you've gotten to do a little bit already, man. It's like, it is such a process, and converting followers into fans and figuring out where your big markets are. Like, you're interesting because it's like you spent time in LA. You've been here in Nashville for a while, but you're a Texas guy. Yeah. So it's like, where would you claim as like a hometown show for you?
Dude, it's really hard, man, because there's such a special place in my heart for Texas. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to go back to Alvarado and do something like in our square, like our little town square that's right there by David's. You know what I mean? This little grocery store that's there. Yeah. One day, I'd love to, do that one day for my town, But maybe like a hometown show would. I'd still like to say Dallas would be a hometown show, but this would just be a home show if we did it on a Nashville. You know what I mean? I think that this is like where I'm gonna get to build my family, and where I bought a house out here. It's middle of nowhere. We're up in like Jolton, Pleasant View, where there's nothing going on. There's one grocery store, and I hold that close to my heart because that's where I was raised, man. And so I'm very much like not in the city of Nashville, and that's why I think it's drove me so much to stay here and all that, is because it feels like home, man. And also for a long time, a lot of people don't know, but my parents' house burned down, and my family was living with me for like the last year. So it was kind of nice to like have.
You had the family with you here in Tennessee.
My dad was living in a camper, like on a campsite for the last like year and a half because of his work, and he couldn't leave Texas. My mom was. We enclosed like this single car garage in my basement and like made it a little studio apartment for her. My brother lived in there with her as well. And he had like this girlfriend. They had a little girl and all that stuff. That whatever. And then they ended up they split though. But like it was just a whole little like family compound for a little while. You know what I mean? And so that kind of regrounded me too and all that stuff. But
what's it like? Because you're 27, 28?
Just turned 28.
Just turned 28, man.
28's
take it from a guy who just turned 31. 28's a good year.
Is it?
It really is. A lot of good shit happens.
I'm glad to hear that, because I'm not gonna lie, I turned 28 and I woke up and I was like, holy shit, I'm actually almost 30.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the 27 was like, yo, I'm like still kind of mid 20s.
Yeah.
And then like just the immediate switch to 28, I was like, bro, I'm like actually almost 30. Like I'm like actually almost there. And it kind of freaks me out because I feel like where I'm from, like I was supposed to have like a wife and kids by now and work with my dad in the cement plants. You know what I mean? Like that was the goal. If I didn't make it racing dirt bikes, or I didn't make it doing anything else with like things I was growing up on with sports. Yeah. And this was definitely like by far like one of my biggest dreams to accomplish in life, but I never thought it would be possible from Alvarado. Like I thought I was gonna play sports or work for my dad.
Yeah, man. Being 28 and being able to build out a compound for your family, that's a real testament to, one, your character, and two, all that you've gotten to do in 28 years on this earth.
Dude, it's
not many guys or girls would be able to do that and be able to take their family in and give back to the people that raised you in the way that you did,
I would
man.
do it 100 times over as well, because like I can't speak for a lot of other people's stories, but my story is truly like if it wasn't for my dad and my mom, I would not be anywhere where I'm at. We didn't come from money, but my dad, you know, always did very well with getting by. And, you know, there was a moment where, like, when I moved out to LA to go do this stuff, like, they were about to sell their house to be able to keep me out there, you know, to keep pushing everything. And my dad was, you know, my dad's like old school, like, country, like, doesn't
Texan, proud
like,
Texan.
He's like that gummit boy now, like he's like super, like you'd see my family, my brother, like they all talk the same, and you would think I'm fucking adopted, like straight up, man. And like my dad didn't understand any of it when we were getting started. Like, he wanted me to race dirt bikes. He wanted me to stay in the training facility. He wanted me to do all that stuff. And when I went out there, he was like, I want you to stay here, but like, go do it, bub. Like, go do what you got to do. And him and my mom, like, my mom was doing hospice for 20 years. She eventually stopped that to raise us and then started working with my dad to help make money to keep me out there and everything. My brother works for my dad as well. So it was like a big, like, family business that they just kind of devoted their whole life to helping me do what I wanted to do out there. And so truly, like, I would go broke 100 times to help them and make sure they're safe, because they did that for me. So
what's it like going from being an 18-year-old town of 2,000 people with Davids in the town square going out to LA?
Truthfully, I would have, after I've done it now, I would have rather stayed in Alvarado, man. I guess, like, I'll take it with a grain of salt. You know, I think it taught me the most valuable lessons of my life, and it's made me what I'd like to say, like, a pretty solid, like, young man, and what I'm growing into. I'm so far away from where I want to be in my walk with God and stuff too right now. But, like, I think that, like, I would just not be anywhere where I'm at mentally, physically, everything, if I didn't go out to that shithole of a town and do what I did. But that's a part of it, man. That was a part of what God wrote for me. That was a part of my testimony. That was a part of everything. And I think going out there, I had a lot of the wrong ideas, just like anyone else did. Like, I was a 15-year-old kid that started on Vine with all those other Vine kids, and I was telling my mom, I was like, I'm going to go to LA and be famous on the internet. Like, I had no real intention to build any career, no real intention to build any, like, sustainable business. All I wanted to do was be famous and rich. Like, that was, like, in my eyes.
Yeah, you're also between 15 and 18 years old.
Yeah.
We don't fully know what is going on in the world.
I had no idea about responsibilities,
dude,
man.
Yeah, nobody does at that young age. Seriously.
And you know, it was a newsflash, man. It was a culture shock. It was everything, dude. You know, you come from a small town where everyone knows everyone. It's holding doors open for people. It's yes ma'am, no ma'am. Yeah. It's like you just would do anything to help one another for $0. And you go out to a place like LA where, like, it's very, like, transactional, man. It's very, like, oh, like, we can't hang with this guy because he doesn't benefit us at all. He's a nobody on the internet. What does bringing him into our friend group have to do for us?
Or if we hang with this guy, then if we bring this guy in, then we got to go do something for him, and then he's got to do something for us.
I'm telling you, in
just
the 8 years,
toxic mindset.
I say it all the time, but in the 7, 8 years I was in LA, man, I didn't go throw a baseball with one person. Wow. I didn't have, like, a real solid moment with, like, hardly anybody in LA, man. And I think that's one thing that was, like, a big shock to me leaving it, was how oblivious I was to all that. Because I mean, I should have never been there for that long. Never, man. I just thought, because of the way that the industry was working and the money that I was making and the followers that I was gaining, was if I was to switch anything, it would all be gone. It would slowly start drifting away. I'd fall off. I'd be just another one of those guys, right? Yeah. And I think for so long I let my ego get to me, and I was like, I can't be one of those guys, man. I'm on top. I got to stay on top, and all this stuff, instead of protecting my just mental and capacity and my wellness. And it drove me so far into the ground to where, dude, like, I was the lowest I'd ever been in my life. There was a moment where, like, I even have a song that's going to be coming out soon that, like, really dives into that moment of my life, because I feel like I've been writing, and I'm ranting kind of for a second right now.
Go for it, bro.
I feel like for so long, man, I was, like, trying to write music and trying to be, like, accepted into this town, instead of just coming into this town and being the most real version of myself. Like, I've never drank in my life, man. I got a problem with smoking a little bit too much weed, and that's just because of what that town did to me, man. It put me at a low moment. But it's kind of going through those moments and like talking about my testimony a little bit of like, it's called When No One's Around. And that's where like, when I was in the mindset of like waking up and like taking my own life one day was an option at one moment of my life. You know what I mean? And I think that that's where like, I would love to start tying into my music and tying into my testimony of like the realest version of me. Cause I feel like for the longest time, man, why this music, and it could be a lot of reasons. It could be just because there may be some just like really like blue collar dudes that just never want to get behind Tayler Holder or the idea of it because I danced like cringy on TikTok and they're like, I just can't do it. Or there's just like a side of people that they'll realize like, hey man, there's like a lack of authenticity, I feel like, for so long with my music, with my career, with everything about me that never really, I guess I would say like just showed like the version of Tayler that people I feel like if they like, I want people to like be like, oh, I could share a beer with that guy even if I don't drink. I feel like if I like spent a moment with him and heard him out, like I would like actually like this fucking dude, you know what I mean? And I think that that's like the route that we're excited to take, and I'm excited to dive down is Tayler and what Tayler actually is.
100%, dude. And that, like, the concept of when no one else is around, man. Like, I'm coming up on 10 years off the booze. Like, I had a problem with it, and I always tell people, like, I'm at my worst when I'm just by myself, and like people get in their heads, and that's something that I think any guy or girl can relate to at any stage in their life. Everybody's been through it, and if they say they haven't, then they're lying to themselves. You 100%. Know?
They're like it's denial. Like denial is the first sign of like depression. Honestly, is what I had found too for myself was like, and that's why like that title is so meaningful to me, because even like like what you just shared is like, dude, I can't speak for anybody else, but what I do know for myself is everyone's always like, Tayler, man, you got to clean house, dude. You got too many people around you always. And I'm like, I know. And I say I know because, like, realistically, like, I know that I need to. I know that all these people around the Tayler Holder group are not all there for me. They could honestly probably give a fuck less about me. You know what I mean? But, like, what they don't understand in my own head is, like, the reason I smoke so much weed, the reason I surround myself with all these people, the reason that I've lived the way that I've lived, and it's hard to get out of that cycle, is purely solely because for me it sounds so like soft, but like when no one is around and I'm high or I'm not high or whatever, like my mind goes to the worst moments that I could possibly be, and I don't know how to escape it. Yeah. And that's what that record is about, is like it's almost like kind of asking for help, man. Like the top line of the chorus is like, when no one's around, I start to drown, like with life, so throw me a rope because I only know of one way out. You know what I mean? It's like there's like this moment of like just grief when you're sitting with yourself, man, and there's not a single thing but every type of noise going on in your head of like the devil trying to attack you, man. It's the scariest position I've ever been in, and that's why I think that I surround myself with the people that I do, and so many people, is because I can't be alone. Yeah. And I'm working on it, man. And everyone's like, Tayler, have you ever tried talking to someone? And like for some reason, me and talking to people don't go together.
Well, you know what you can do? You know what you're talking to? You can talk to your fans and talk to the world through your songs.
And that's what I rely on,
and
man.
That's what you can use the song.
That's why this record, man, like whether it's just for myself or for everybody that I know needs to hear it as well, I'm so excited about, because it's the first real song that I've put out. And I'm just excited for the world to hear it, man.
Yeah, man, that's freaking great. Tell me about Pieces, man.
Dude,
talk about Peace, the new one you just put out, man. Because that's another one where I'm like, we're starting to see
that was kind of like the start, man. Yeah. Like, and that's what kind of turned the page for me too. Because I was like, dude, we're in music, man. I'm always gonna write breakup songs because people need breakup songs, man. You know what I mean? Whether I'm in a happy relationship or not, man. I also want those songs that people can just apply to their life, whether it's truthful to my story or not. But I was writing and releasing all these songs. You know how the music industry works. Like a lot of these songs that we released were written like a year and a half ago, and they've just been in the, I was releasing a lot of like heartbreak, breakup songs, and I'm like very clearly in love, man. And
Yeah.
obviously,
Which congrats on, man.
thank you, man. And
Y'all got something special.
dude, thank you, bro. I obviously had sat down and wrote. I've tried to write a lot of songs about her, but like I didn't want to just put out another song, like that was just like I love you so much. You know what I mean? Like I really wanted it to like hit home, man. I wanted it to be a home run. And when we wrote this song originally, it was like 4 on the floor, dude, like freaking going. It wasn't even a piano ballad at all. And we ended up like messing around and just stripping everything back. And we were like, oh my God, boys, this might be it. And I mean, I went there. That's where I went, dude, was the place of like, hey, dude, I am this beaten up, broken individual. I am someone that does not deserve this person. I am someone that like is literally telling her, hey, you should probably just turn around and walk right the fuck back out because you're going to end up broken just like anyone else I've been with in the past, and you don't deserve that. And I think that with her seeing the version that everyone loved to talk about and not have good things about, and deciding instead of following that bandwagon of hopping on a bandwagon of like F Taylor, it was like, no, I'm going to stand by that guy because that's the version of him that I fell in love with. And I see such an amazing version. Like she's broke this down and told me it. And that's what like just completely changed my idea of like, I was dead set on like, love is probably not a real thing anymore, man. With the internet, with everything, dude.
With your life, bro, I'd imagine it's a pretty
dude,
difficult
and finding
thing.
someone that really understands it, and I feel like it's a lot to ask sometimes because like it's truly almost like impossible, or it's very hard to understand this lifestyle, man. It with the way that there's just people that always either love you and throw themselves at you, or hate you and try to sabotage everything you're doing in life.
Yeah.
It's really hard on both parties. You know what I mean? And to find someone that can not only like, I guess like deal with that and not even understand it, but just handle it and sit right there with me and be like, hey, I trust you. I'm here with you. I got you. It's one in a million, man. And,
walk me through the fire at the barn.
Oh,
because I saw that video and I remember I texted Tyler and was like, "Are everybody okay?" Like,
yeah, dude.
What a chaotic moment.
Well,
I'm
first
sure that
off,
all
like
was.
shout out to like my guitar player Tony Gentili and then John too, because Tony, luckily by the grace of God, had pulled up right as the fire started. So like my driveway like wraps around my house, and then you pull up to the front of my house, but like you could see my barn in the background back there. And he had pulled up, and instead of coming in right away, he sat in the car for like 15 minutes on the phone with his dad. If he would have came in right away, I always think about those things is like what could have happened if it didn't happen the exact way it happened, you know? He sat in the car. He started seeing some smoke back there, and we're always burning stuff, bonfires. We're renovating the house. We got wood to burn, whatever it is. And he thought, oh, they're just having a fire. Well, the black smoke started getting bigger. He was coming there to talk tour stuff with John. John eventually went out there and was like dancing in the driveway, like being just, you know, we were just fucking off. And we were packing up our stuff to leave to go to Tractor Supply to get more stuff for the barn and stuff. And all of a sudden Tony's like, hey, John, like, I don't know if that's supposed to, it looks like there's a fire over there. And we were already filming and capturing something. I had just hired a full-time videographer to capture my life and document everything. And literally, like, one of the first days on the job, this happens. And John comes running inside, busts in the door. And, like, this is how you know our friend group is, like, great but not great. He runs inside and is like, the barn's on fucking fire, dude. Like, get out here now. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, right, dude. Like, the way I just didn't believe him because that's just how our friend group is. But I did see, like, a genuine fear in his eyes. And I was like, okay, well, I just kind of jog out there a little bit, and I turn around the corner, and I see the whole barn in flames. And, dude, I'm like, gone, dude. Me and Z are cooking to the barn. Zoe's behind me. We have everyone, like, it did seem, like, worse in the video for the camera guy because, like, it seemed like he was just filming, and it was, like, me, Zoe, and Z. Like, we did have a couple other hands that were behind the camera that were bringing us buckets of water, doing a lot of other things as well, but I mean, dude, we got out there within 45 seconds of it starting, and that's how big it was in 45 seconds. It was...
Imagine if you had been on the road.
Bro, imagine Tony went inside to meet with John, and we left for Tractor Supply. I'm just thinking, like, stuff like that, and I got out there. You could see me kicking the fence in the video. The reason I was kicking it was because the fire was where the gate was to get into the goat pen. Whenever we ran out there from the angle at first, it was the goat pen that was on fire, and I thought the entire thing was. I thought the goats were gone, dude. And when we got around the corner, there was about a 3-foot gap in between like where the goats were and where the fire was. The goats had some like burn marks on them where they had lost some of their fur and stuff like that. But I was trying to kick the fencing because I couldn't go in through the gate. Yeah. And man, we built that fence good because I could not get that thing through. I was trying to. 2 of the goats were pregnant. I was trying to kick it open to just let them run out. You know. Tried throwing that cinder block through. Couldn't get it, and I was like, "I'm going in, boys. Like, baby, go in Mabel's pen the pig, and just catch them. I'm gonna throw them over. Like, and I just start throwing them over the fence. I didn't want to do that because they were pregnant, you know. But I was like, they're either gonna die or we're gonna do this. You know what I mean? And so. Did that. Z's running around throwing water on it, and finally the fire department gets there and like puts it all out. But dude, that was like one of the craziest days of my life, and it turned into something way bigger than I thought it was going to be as well. Like I tried to post that just to literally say God is good, man, and like it ended up like going. Next thing I know, I was on the news and stuff like that. I didn't even know it was going to be that. I just was like trying to bring awareness to it that like, man, you really don't know what can happen next. So
yeah. That's wild, man. I'm just glad you guys are okay. The animals are okay.
Oh, like, I jumped in the fire. I mean, I was like, I didn't even give a fuck if I got burned, man. I was like, I need to get these animals out of here. So that was like the most important thing to me, that that all the animals were good and like the barn's replaceable, man. Like, and you know, all of them, everyone. There were so many people online that was like, "Buddy burnt his barn down to collect insurance and all this stuff," and I'm like, "Yo, you guys are losers, man." Like. F you for that.
I'm not gonna burn my barn down.
Like,
with
bro,
the
like,
animals.
what do I like? I know I could look like an absolute douchebag on the internet from like my content, but like, I would just never like put animals' lives at danger to just collect some money.
Yeah, that's
man.
not
Like,
something that
I've had all of the
to
money
do.
in the world, and I've also lost all the money in the world. Like, it's really pointless, man. And still to this day, we have not claimed insurance. I'm rebuilding it on my own fucking dime.
Yeah.
All this stuff, but that's like the part of the internet that's whatever, man.
Yeah. How do you handle that? Like you've had the comment section on your life now for 10 years.
Yeah, you know,
like,
I mean,
how does someone navigate that?
I think like for me, I think time, obviously, the amount of time I've been doing it helps for sure. But also whenever you like realize, like I kind of started to sit back like probably 5 years ago and realize that like, dude, we not only like also like we would look at these like cringy dances that we would do like back in the LA days, right? Like I feel like a lot of people kind of feel like we film these videos and we're like, this is hard, bro. Like, nah, we filmed it. Like me and Bryce and all those guys, like we knew what we were doing. Like we filmed it. We were like, yep, we're definitely going to get flamed for that post. Like we knew it, you know, because we were just, it was like, how do we get people to talk, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays I'm just like, this 15-second clip pissed somebody off so much to go onto a comment section that they know nothing about. They haven't spent 1 second of a day with off of a video on a screen to go comment some outlandish stuff. I'm like, I think about it like that. I'm like, who's the real loser at that point?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, we honestly feed off of it. Like, I love it. Like, I love pissing people off because I'm like, you're just a loser, man. Like if what I'm doing in my own daily life is pissing you off that much, like go touch some grass, brother. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm sure it has to make the positive comments, especially since you've been doing this music thing, mean that much more coming from the negative comment sections that you once had to now getting,
you know,
people talking about the music. Like This Ain't You Leaving was a huge song for you. And I'm sure that song generated some great positivity, and all these new songs.
It was funny because even with that song, like we knew what we were doing there. Like I took a different approach with the promotion on that song, and I started doing very much like Cameron Whitcomb style stuff. And that was because behind the scenes, no one knew it yet, but I was gaining a friendship with Cameron. We were like, I was telling him how I learn a lot of my promo from him. I apply a lot of it from him. And then like people were like, kid wants to be Cameron Whitcomb so bad. So then we
doing it right.
But and then me and Z, because you know he had Cameron, I think that's his name. Yeah, his little buddy Cameron, or Caden, my bad. Caden. And so I had little Z, and we were like, all right, let's keep doing this for the public side, because me and Cam were about to link up anyways and do some stuff together and do that tour together. So we were like, it's all gonna make sense, but like you got to trick the internet for a while,
Yeah.
and like like you just get people talking, dude. It's funny, man. It's
Yeah.
fun. But
How did Little Z come into your world?
findalittleperson.org. It was like Build-A-Bear, dude. You just like I was kidding.
Because
I always tell people that, dude.
He's a Midwest guy.
He's from
right?
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I was living I had just moved to Nashville. I was living in Hendersonville with like Caden, Creesh, Jaden, Tyler,
Yeah.
like our whole little squad that we had. And we were like really heavy on our like little like content house style stuff still. And I was like, boys, hear me out. We need a little person, man. Like everyone loves them. It makes content amazing. They're freaking solid. Like I just everything about it made sense, right? And like at first, I think for a while I was kind of mainly looking at it as like the content purpose. And then like I met Z. Like one of them was like Caden was actually like, they knew Z. He was a full-time diesel mechanic. Got him on FaceTime, and I was like, yo, brother, I want you out here in Nashville. Like, come out and create with us sometime, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And, like, very quickly was like, I, like, fell in love with the kid, dude. Like, he very quickly became one of my best friends, dude. And I was like, bro, I want you to do this stuff with us, dude. And he came to the Dylan Scott tour. We found out he could sing. He started singing every night with us.
He can sing
like,
really freaking well.
dude, like, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, there's a real product here as well. You know what I mean? And so I just that's kind of how that happened, and just through mutual friends. And after I came out there, and he rides dirt bikes, he's a mechanic, he flips, he does like all kinds of talented things as well. And I was like, there is something here. And also I just get along with him a lot, because from my moto, my parkour, my disc, like I just did a bunch of stuff growing up that I still do to this day, that I was like, me and this kid are going to get along.
Yeah.
And here we are 4 years later.
And he's
like
part of the
still living
family.
together. He's part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What was the big adjustment coming from LA to Nashville?
I think the biggest adjustment was and I guess like if I could sum it up into one word, is like patience. I think like slowing down. You know what I mean? Because LA was such a never satisfied. How can I get to the next thing? And it was all just materialistic stuff that meant nothing at the end of the day. And I think that was like the biggest culture shock coming to Nashville, was like how much immediately someone extended a hand and said, hey, bud, like, how can I help what you're doing? You know what I mean? But I think just kind of honestly the best place to start was throwing out everything I ever learned in LA, really. And just networking, meeting people, getting out there, working on my craft, studying it. Also, like, starting from ground zero. I think that
has to be a nice feeling, too, to kind of rebuild. Because
Absolutely.
how long have you been out here now?
October this last year was 3 years. So a little over 3 years.
Okay, so you move out here when you're 20, 25?
Yeah.
24, 25,
Yeah,
somewhere in that
right at the
window.
end of 2022.
Yeah, it's not a bad time to kind of embark on the next chapter, bro.
Yeah. And that was it was a scary thing for us, man. We had like kind of fired and gotten rid of all of our team, and like I said, it was me, John, and my mom basically that like kind of started this whole new chapter. And it was just a bunch of trial and error, man. But I'd honestly encourage anybody that's like watching stuff like this or watching anything I do, whether you like it or not, but starting over starting over is like one of the scariest things we've ever done in life. And it was the biggest blessing I've ever done. Like, God will absolutely rip you out of a situation you have never been aware of. He sees things that you don't see, and he pulled me out of an area that he knew that it was hurting me for so long, man. It was like, I truly feel this, man. I was like, I truly feel like God was like, I'm about to mess your world up for a long time for you to see what I have planned for you.
Yeah.
And man, did he provide. Man, did he do exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, talk about the relationship with God, and that's something that you say you're continuing to work on, but seem to have a better grasp on now than you ever have.
Dude, absolutely. I mean, I'm obviously I struggle with a lot of things, whether it's, there's a lot of things that come in factor with like the way that the public views Christianity as well. And, people love to bring in like, oh, like how do you claim to follow God and you cuss so much? How do you claim to follow God and you smoke and you do these things that are unchristian? Like, absolutely, brother. I never claim to be a perfect Christian. I still struggle with those things. And last time I checked, that's between me and the Lord. Like, I don't know where that ever came to play that I'm just some perfect Christian. But out in LA, I went to church here and there. I didn't grow up in church. I didn't grow up in, my parents believe, but they're not some just like diehard biblical, like, we're very like just redneck. Like if you were to see where we grew up, man, it's just like that's just what it is, dude.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was a thing of a long time of me being out in LA and hearing people say, you know, they're Christian or they believe in God, and I think I would just say that stuff because I thought it was the cool thing or the right thing to say. And instead of actually even picking up and reading a Bible at all, or stepping foot into a church, or really even understanding what anything meant to walk right with God, like I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
And going through just the years that I've went through in life, and just the ups and downs and of everything, like when I came here, I was like, surely there's no reason this is happening for no reason. There's such a strong reason as to why I'm being removed from a certain area and placed into another. And I there was one thing that I'd not tried to do was understand why God was moving stuff in my life. I kind of just always rolled with the wind and what was popular in that moment. And I bought a Bible, man. I started going to church. I started surrounding myself with real Christians. Even my old guitar player, Harrison, was like a massive help to my life and my walk with God as well. He has an amazing testimony from where he was with his drug abuse to where he is now, man. You would never even think that kid has ever said a cuss word or touched a drug in his life, man.
Yeah.
God has changed his life so much. And I think when I came here, I feel like God gave me a second chance to not only just like have a career or do something that I love, but to also put me on a stage to serve him and to spread the word about him and what he has done for my life, to hopefully push people to walk towards that moment of their life as well. Because I feel like we're in a really scary part of the world right now.
We
man.
really
That's
are.
That's
the truth.
I wish I could like even like talk more about, and not because I don't want to. It's because I truly don't feel like I know enough about it. You know, I feel like no one really knows because I feel like everything's hidden, man. I feel like everything's like, when you feel like you know, you still don't know. And when you're being lied to by the people that run all of this, it's like, what do you even, like, I'm just like, all I can do is just be the best version of myself and be the best version that like God and to people, you know what I mean? It's like kindness is really everything at that point.
Yeah, man. I think about, and it goes back, I grew up a huge Brantley Gilbert fan.
Yeah.
And I remember, and it helped me a lot with my sobriety because he's California sober like I am as well, like you are. And his title of his first record was Modern Day Prodigal Son. And it was talking about going through those tribulations. A lot of it doing it yourself, but having to go through that BS and then finding your way back like a modern day prodigal son. And that seems like what this chapter's kind of been, with you surrounding yourself with the right people, doing what God put you here to do, having the right woman in your life, singing the songs and writing the songs for people, you know, to spread that message that he put you here for.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing, man, is when you're at the top of the world, people are going to have something to say about you. And when you fall off and you lose everything, people are going to talk about how washed up you are and how you were once was something. You're never going to have everybody on your side. And I think that, like, that's just that, man. Everyone's got an opinion, and it sucks. And I think that, like, I wish sometimes we could put a muzzle on some people's voices on the internet, because I think one thing that we really messed up on is giving everyone a voice. You know, I believe that everyone has a voice. I just don't think that everyone deserves a voice.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff's real, man. And the internet is a scary, one of the worst drugs I think I've ever been addicted to.
Yeah.
If I could say that, if that was the case. But, you know, I think that it all just comes down to you and your relationship with God and what you know you're supposed to be doing, man. Because when you don't know what you're doing and you're caught into something like just social media or politics or all this stuff, it's a very toxic world, man. It's a very scary world to get out of, and sometimes you don't ever get out of it, man.
Yeah, man, it absolutely is. So what are we looking forward to in 2026? Sounds like a tour, sounds like some new music, sounds like a record.
Yup, we got headline tour. You know, it's not 100 solidified, but it is moving, and that's what we're headed. And right now we're headed for top of May to attack for 8 to 10 shows. Hopefully, that's what we're going for. You know,
that's great.
And we're working on an EP, or my first project, my debut EP. Lots of new records, some cool features that I'll tell you about after. I don't know if I could say yet, but we should have. I'll say we should have his verse back here in the next week,
Let's
hopefully.
go. That's awesome.
So it's we're working on some really cool stuff, man, and I'm just excited to keep slowly building it brick by brick, man.
That's cool, man. What's something that you would tell that 18-year-old kid that's leaving Texas and now knowing what you know now and where you're at in your life and getting ready to drop your first project and just all that you've been through? What's a message you would have for that kid leaving a small town going to pursue something that might end up not being the right thing for him?
What you're feeling is not a mistake. I think that there's goals, there's dreams in life that everyone wants to accomplish, but there's people and opinions that get to you that make that instead of going here, it ends up kind of like all these other ways until you get there. I think that trust your heart, lean on God, and consistency is key, man. I think that don't second guess what your gut's feeling. I wish I would have done that better. I wish I would have applied that better instead of letting materialistic stuff control my life for a long time. I feel like maybe I would have been a little bit happier with my career and happier with just life if I would have just trusted what I knew in my heart I wanted. And but that's a part of my testimony, and I'm glad to hold my head high with that. But yeah, I would just say follow what you're feeling.
Amen, dude. Always trust your gut and go with what you're feeling. Brother, I appreciate you so much taking the time.
It's been a long time
been
overdue,
a while,
bro,
dude, long
like,
time overdue. And I haven't done a nighttime pod in a while, but it feels good to be doing
good,
this shit at night, man.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for this project. I can't wait to hear more about what you and the boys are cooking
Dude,
behind the
we'll
scenes.
send it all over to you, man.
Please do, man. Please do. And anything we can ever do to help in the Raised Rowdy world. You know, your family.
You guys have always been so good to
dude,
me, man,
and we got to get out on the golf course sometime soon as well.
We were literally just talking about that.
I would love to do that again, especially because I got your lady hooked on these on the surf side. Zoe is a big Surfside consumer.
Dude, she's like very similar with me when it comes to golf. We play a strong game of whack fuck. I can't really hit the ball very well, and she's probably even worse, actually. But she loves being a cute little caddy and getting drunk on the golf course.
Yeah,
so
and when our group that we had, we represented the Tailgate and Tall Boys family very well. It was you, it was me, it was Pork Chop from Jelly Roll's crew, it was Lily Rose, it was Matt Grayscheck who sells merch for Wallen. Zoe, John was out with us. We had like a 6 or 7 group. It was chaos.
Completely against all the rules.
And when you and I had done a little smoky smoke at the turn, I started putting balls within 10 feet of the pin.
Oh, dude, I started playing the best round of golf of my life.
Whatever you had that day, we need to have that again. And we need to go out there and hit some golf balls.
You know what? Sounds good. I think this week we need to get on the golf course out there in what's that one called out there? Nashville Nationals, man, out there by my house, dude.
Yeah, let's do it.
The reason I like it is because I can pull up and I could pull up and go golf in underwear and flip flops if I wanted to. It's like it's still a good course. Like it's good and it's got some good holes on it. But like you can just walk on. There's no real tee times. Like you can just go and like you can just be a fool. So I like.
That's how Pebblebrook is too. I don't know if you've done that one. That one's real mountain golf.
Is that in Hendersonville?
It's up towards your neck of the woods. It's out that way in like the Robertson County area.
Yeah.
And it is. You should have to sign a waiver for driving the golf carts on the hills because it is chaos, man. But we'll have to get out on the links for sure.
Absolutely,
I would love to do that. Y'all be on the lookout for the new music coming from my boy Tayler Holder. It's coming real soon. And shout out to our friends from Surfside. No bubbles, no troubles. It's not a seltzer. It is a Surfside, damn it. Delicious vodka, lemonade, iced tea, all the good stuff. And for more on us, visit raisedrowdy.com. For my man Taylor, I'm Matt Burrill. This has been Outside the Round.